Okay. I'm live on YouTube and Facebook as always. That's how I always start out. So and my YouTubes are saved all the time. I think on Facebook my lives are saved for 30 days, I think. But on YouTube they're evergreen. So anyway. So you can ask your questions. You can, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer your questions. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go in the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. It's all about you and your leadership. Or you can check out my coaching. You have to apply for coaching these days because I'm just super busy. I can't always take new clients on. So anyway, ask away if you have any questions. If not, I'll just sit here all by myself and not say anything. YouTube, geez, I'll announce that soon. I'll wait till I get more people on. Okay, so I'm just here answering your parenting questions. Yesterday, Facebook picks up. Facebook's the slowest moving live I get. It starts out like a snail and then ends up like a hare, rabbit hare. So yeah, it's really weird. Can't figure it out. Everyone acts different on different platforms. It's really interesting. And YouTube, that's my smallest platform, and it's not even a social media, it's a search engine. So it's a tougher platform to do. So I'm on there, but that is my slowest for sure. But yeah, you can ask away if you have any. If you don't have any questions, I'll just move over to Instagram. If you follow me, Instagram and TikTok are really busy. This is a good opportunity because I can usually answer your questions on here. So yeah, I don't know why. Last night and today, this live is really slow to start, and then it picks up and gets busy. So anyway, don't know why. Anyway, just sitting here waiting. I can have a sip of tea while I'm waiting. So you can tell me where you're from if you don't have any questions. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. Hello, Jessica. Where are you from, Jessica? What part of the world? I used to ask that every single live. I've been doing lives now for almost 2 years every day. Minnesota. Hi, Minnesota. Oh, no, it was Minneapolis. I always think Mary Tyler Moore. Is that Minnesota or Minneapolis? Actually, I don't know where Minnesota is. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to look it up later. Whenever someone tells me where, I know almost all the states now. I know a lot about them now because of these lives. It's a city in Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota. Okay, 2 things to look up. Interesting. Thanks for that. Okay. Wisconsin. Hi, Wisconsin. California. Hello. Okay. Thanks, Ada, for putting down the ages, because I can't answer without an age, especially something like, preteens and tweens. It helps. How do you put boundaries on pre-tweens? No, a tween, preteen. I always call them tweens, but some people call them preteens, so it mixes me up. Preteens and teens. So how do you put boundaries on them? Okay, a tween, preteen, is 9 to 12. You can put more clear boundaries on them. Teenagers, not so much. You want to negotiate things with teenagers. Once they get, especially 14, 15, 16, you want to start negotiating all the boundaries. Negotiation is the key. So it's a little bit different for each one. So many things, so many different ways I could go with this. I want to go on and on about this. Teenagers are my favorite age, as you probably already know. I started my business 17 years ago doing teen crisis work. I just love teenagers. The thing is that teenagers are actually really easy to parent. It's just that parents don't always adjust their parenting to adjust to the teen years. And I'm going to read out my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers, which might help you. Number 1 is you listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. That's a huge mistake. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. And by the way, they already know it. And when you get good at this, I call it silent listening, which I'm not real good at, but I'm good at with kids, I am. You use these more than that. And they're going to tell you everything right through the teen years. They won't be able to help themselves because you're a safe place to land. Okay, and because there's no judgment. That's why you listen to understand, show empathy. Okay, number 2, you negotiate pretty much everything with teenagers. It's not a blanket statement, but negotiate when you can. A good example of this is, hey, I want your dirty dishes in the dishwasher within 5 minutes of being finished eating, whatever. Always put a time limit on it. And then you say, what do you want from me? So work back and forth. They'll probably say something ridiculous like get off my back, say, whew, too big of an ask. Let's take it down a notch. So yeah, use humor with this stuff too. And number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. Save your energy for the big stuff. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, you say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? Use humor. Again, I use a lot of humor. UK. Hi, UK. I get a lot of clients from all over the world. I would say most of my clients are in the US. But yeah, I get a lot of clients from all over the world. And I've learned so much about different religions, different cultures, different ways of life. It's fascinating. I just love it. And someone asked me the other day, how do you deal with it when you get a country where the dad will not be on the behavior board because the man is the head of the house? There's no way he'll be accountable. And I say, yeah, but I love a challenge. So I have to work around that. I totally respect that. I teach more North American parenting style. So I've learned I have to adjust my parenting style to suit different cultures around the world, which I love that. Because I've got a very open mind. I don't think there's one way or the highway. So, other cultures have been around a lot longer than North America. You know what I mean? Other countries. So, and they've been doing okay. So we can all learn from each other. Okay, I have a question. How do I keep my 2-year-old to behave in public, especially places where you have to wait like a doctor? You don't. That's a big ask. Do they, okay. Another thing too is people say, how do I get my toddler to have a different personality when we're out? That's basically what you're asking. Are they really quiet and well behaved when you're home? Then why would they be when they're out? They're the same people. I'm kind of like that. I have the same personality everywhere I go. I don't change my personality. I mean, yes, I'm a little bit quieter. I'm not talking to everybody everywhere I go. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're expecting them to have a different personality. So it's a little bit of an unfair ask. They're going to be a little bit nuts and crazy. You got to work with that. So I used to bring goodie bags wherever I went. So I always had stuff in my bag. My mom was good at that too. I always had stuff in my bag that I could pull out. I had a very specific shopping trolley goodie bag, which that's another conversation. But I always had something in my bag, coloring or something they could actually do. So you meet their needs and manage their wants. Their needs are not to sit still and not say or do anything. That's not their needs. You can read to them. And also, if I had to go somewhere with my little ones when they were tiny, I would take them to the park and run them around the park for a while first. Get some of that energy out first so that they are more likely to sit and read with you in the doctor's office or whatever. But still, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're crazy. I'm going to read, which leads into this. I'm going to read my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. And the last one is what I was just saying led into this. Number 1 is childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is you set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3 is when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. You don't go to the nail salon to connect with a toddler. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. You watch how they play and join in. Okay. And number 4 is kind of similar. You discipline in their world. They're not about mini therapy sessions. They are not about words. They're about actions. So all these mini therapy sessions that are so popular these days, it's a bunch of garbage. That was invented to make the mom feel good about herself. Let's discuss all your big feelings and big emotions. I just want to get sick every time I see that. It's so misled. It's just ridiculous. They're about actions. You use consistent corrective actions every time you want to correct a toddler's bad behavior. They will eventually learn. Not the first time, probably not the 50th. Maybe the 100th time they'll eventually learn, because they learn through a knee-jerk reaction. So they'll eventually just stop doing it, but they're not really thinking it through so much. The last one is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed in there. Okay, let's say you've only been in the world for 2 years. In that first year, you were a potato laying on a mattress. Like, how formed are you? And this is what led into this is I always call toddlers crazy. It's not so much that they're crazy. They just haven't developed sanity yet. Okay, they're not there yet. So anyway, that's my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. I need a sip of tea after that. Does that make sense? Okay, just a sec here. My 18-month-old doesn't like to spend time with me. If his dad is around, we'll have a meltdown if I take him from him. Oh, well, like they just want what they want. They're going to pick you later on. Like they go back and forth. So don't worry about that. If you do have to do something with them, just do it. Let him scream and kick. He'll understand that he's not in control of who he has to be around. So like if my kids wanted to be with their dad, let's say they wanted to do something with their dad and I went over there and they had said no, I would have picked them up anyway. No, well, you're stuck with me. I just make things happen. Like once I've decided something's going to happen, I make it happen with a toddler. I don't let them guide me. Okay, it's very important with little ones. As they get older, teenagers, you don't do that, obviously. But with toddlers, you want to say, okay, I'm changing your diaper now, and they want to sit with dad. There's no way they would still be sitting with dad. If I said I'm going to be changing your diaper now, I would pick them up and change it. They didn't tend to fight because they knew when mom said something, it was going to happen. They'll eventually, that's part of leadership. So when you say you're going to do something or something's going to happen, just make it happen. Whether or not they kick and scream is irrelevant to me. That's them processing me being in charge, not them. That is their process. Don't interrupt that. That's okay. Everyone's terrified of these tantrum scenes, meltdowns, fits. I welcome that. That's where the lessons are, okay? Don't ever be afraid of that. Don't ever do, oh God, he's going to have a scene if we do that. If you know you're doing the right thing, follow through and let them have a scene. That is how they're learning. Yeah, remember that, I often tell this story, it's a quick one. That 8-year-old boy who he'd never met me before, and I used to mentor kids on volunteering and work with the difficult, challenging ones, trying to help the teacher out in class. I did a lot of that. Anyway, so this little boy hadn't met me before, and he said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. He literally went like this and never did. I was happy if he had a fit. I know how to deal with that. So, but anyway, the lesson was learned even without the fit. The funny thing is, the more difficult the kid that I got to work with, the quicker they were for me to turn them around. Because it's almost like they go like this, oh, finally a leader. Woo! Because all children instinctively need, crave, and want leadership. If you don't do that for them, you're going to send them out in the world very susceptible, very vulnerable to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. They're going to go searching out a leader anywhere else if you're not a leader at home. So you want to be the leader for them. You want to be raising them. You don't want their peers or the drug dealer on the corner or the Kardashians leading them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be the leader. 2-year-old running off, that's an easy one. Get a harness on them, and as soon as they start to run, clip them in and keep them clipped into that leash for the rest of that outing. Okay, they will eventually learn. They're going to have a fit. Absolutely. That's what you want. You want those fits. That is them processing you being in charge instead of them. That's their process. So allow that. They don't all have tantrums, by the way. My daughter, I never had one. My daughter never did. My son had them. You're born that way. You're either going to have tantrums or you're not. How do I change myself because I see when he runs off, turn to watch, I'll chase him. Yeah, no, clip him in. Absolutely. And if you, like, I know it can be difficult and embarrassing, and which doesn't bother me at all. I would still do it anywhere. But if it is, then do practice runs. Go somewhere you don't care about that you can clip him in, and it's not somewhere you have to go. Whereas if you have to go somewhere and all of a sudden he's having a scene, and then you turn up somewhere and he's having a scene. So yeah, do practice run. Can only one parent be a leader, or do both need to be? It's usually one. There's usually a leader and a pleaser. There's no way I wanted anyone else raising my kids, including my husband. Like, in that he was a great dad, but I knew how to get the best out of them. That was my thing. I was a leader. So I didn't want him wrecking that. So anyway, but when he'd take them out, he was there usually is a leader and a pleaser when there's a leader. There's never an authority and a leader. They clash big time. The leader will win out in success rates. But anyway, when he used to take them out and they were little, they would sometimes try and get, something out of him that they would never do with me. So he said to me, what do I do? Like, how do I deal with that? And I said, just say, do you want me to tell mom? That's all he had to say. So you should be on the same page, but you don't have to have the same style. That's ridiculous. There usually is one clear leader, and they're the one that you tell everything to. It just right throughout the teen years, you become the one they tell everything to. So yeah, you feel like you want to be in control of the leadership. You know what's interesting is when I'm hired for coaching, I often pick, and sometimes I do have to pick a leader, because if you're not on the same page and you're like, a lot of parents are on the brink of divorce because of parenting. So I say, okay, I'm going to pick the leader. I often pick the one that doesn't want to be the leader. And I don't know why I do it. I just know who I want to work with. Like, put the most emphasis in, the most work into. Doesn't mean they're the stronger one or the weaker one. I don't know why. I don't know how I do it. I can't even explain it. But yeah, I pick the leader. By the way, check out the behavior board up above. That's completely free. There was a glitch over the weekend where the Podia, where I have all my courses and everything, they had a glitch. They were very apologetic about it, but my emails weren't going out for like 12 hours. That's a big deal in my business. And yeah, that happens again. I'm quitting Podia, but anyway, just so they know. Anyway, I was very mad about that because they just messed up and they shouldn't have. So they thought that there was some unlawful behavior in my account. It wasn't happening. So if you didn't get the behavior board within 12 hours over the weekend, I'm really sorry about that. Usually it will arrive in your inbox within 10 to 20 minutes. It's a third-party delivery system, so you don't get it right away. Yeah, if it was somewhere, I used to have it where it was delivered right away, but it's just the way it's set up in my business. So I just want to apologize for that. I'm not going to say it wasn't my fault. I would own it if it was my fault. For sure, I'm very good at that. I'm a leader. I'm very good at being accountable. But yeah, I was not happy about that because I don't like letting people down. Here, you're going to be getting a behavior board. Uh-oh, you're not getting it. Oh, I hate that. If I say something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I can't control everything, unfortunately, in my business. Do the parents decide the consequences? Yes and no. When the kids get older and once you get this leadership, so like I never decided it. I used to say to my kids, what do you, and they really didn't do anything, but if they did, they kept me waiting or something, or they forgot to do a chore. I'd say, well, what do you think the consequence should be? They'd come up with something. Usually they'd come up with something bigger. And I'd say, that's too much. Just brush my hair for 5 minutes. I love having my hair brushed. It just puts me out to another dimension. It's like meditation. I've never had anyone in my life who likes brushing hair. So that was, if my kids kept me waiting or something, they'd be brushing my hair. So yeah, isn't that funny? Oh, even when I do that, I want to go to sleep. I don't know what it is to get the tingles. But I've never had anyone in my whole life, not my mom, nobody, not my daughter. No one likes brushing hair. Okay. How do I help my 14-year-old boy who is suffering with anxiety? And if he continues this way, he will become agoraphobic. And just a sec. I'm concerned about his future. Yeah, it's a good time to, okay. When I'm hired for coaching with parents of teenage boys, it's almost always just turned 15. It's bizarre. Girls, 12 to 16. I understand why. It's a very, hormones just kick in that 14, 15, just turned 15. So yeah, it's a very concerning time for boys because it's a lot of testosterone that comes shooting into your body and into your brain. It's a lot, and it's a lot to take. I think, even as adults, boys sometimes forget, but I see it all the time. I used to work with that age. So I see it all the time. They just go a little bit berserk in that age. So yeah, if you want to hire me, you'd have to hire me for that. I have to assess where he is, what's going on in his life, what kind of parents you are, and I work on your parenting. And I also give this warning too. And plus coaching, you have to apply for that. I can't always take on new clients because I'm super busy. But the first session, I always say, you're going to hate me in that first session. We never deal with the kids, really. It's all about you. I've got to assess where you're at. I got to find your strengths and your weaknesses, and I got to work with that. Session 2 is kind of similar, but we start to work on a little bit more with the kid. We're working on your relationship with your child. That's what we have to do in the first week or two. Then we can start to work on what's going on with the kid. Teenager. Okay. How do you get teenagers up in the morning? When you're a leader, it works. Leadership, it's all about negotiating with them. So you say, hey, I want you to get yourself up in the morning. If not, there's a consequence. So do you want to lose your phone for the rest of the day if you don't get yourself up and off to school in the morning? Or what do you think is fair? Something like that. If you're a leader, that would work. If you're not, you want to hire me and I'll set you up as a leader. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I keep saying this. I'm just super busy these days. So, and also, it's not like I don't pack in 8 sessions a day. That would be ludicrous. It's because I put a lot into coaching. Like, this is nothing compared to what I do in coaching. Coaching it's intense, like for me. I work up a sweat every time I work with a parent. So, yeah, so it's not that I'm booked out all day long. It's just I know how much I can emotionally manage because I do get personally involved. They always say, I remember years and years ago when I first started my business, people said, the experts always said to me, which I never listened to anyway, but they said, make sure you never get emotionally involved in your clients. Every single time I'm coaching, I am mothering you. I feel very attached when I'm coaching, during coaching. It's very intense. So yeah, I can't take on a lot of people because I put so much into it. So, but anyway, sometimes I can take new clients, sometimes I can't. Yesterday I could, I'm not sure about today. But anyway, you can apply for coaching if you're interested. And you're in a queue, so I'll get to you. Also, if you're dealing with crisis, I always take people in crisis, especially teenage stuff. It's life and death often. Okay. It's funny. I love your parenting style, and it's crying laughter. I'm going to tell you a cute story. I'm a grandmother now. And my granddaughters, and I don't post any of this information. Their lives are private, right? I don't even post on my personal Facebook or anything anymore because people kind of might, I just don't feel right because I've got a strong online presence now, and I don't feel safe with my family. So anyway, she's 2 months old. So I was over there the other day, and it was just the mom and I, and she's doing such a good job. Anyway, so she said, okay, she likes to be walked constantly because she was in a fussy mood. She was sleepy, but she wouldn't go to sleep. So, they're like, she's only 2 months old. So anyway, I'm walking around with her. And after about an hour of this, I'm walking around, and she's fine. And then I thought, well, she's only 2 months old. I can outsmart her. I'm 63 years old. She's only 2 months old. Come on. So anyway, all this experience, so up myself. I thought I can outsmart her. I can just stand, because I was getting tired of walking around. I thought I can just stand in one spot and rock her like this and stomp my feet so she thinks I'm walking. Within like 3 seconds, she picked up on it and started fussing. It's like, Grandma, keep walking. I thought, wow, boy, they're quick. Boy, they are so quick. That just goes to show how well looked after she is in that home, because she's used to, excuse me, I want to be walked now. So cute. I love being a grandma. Oh, they're just doing such a good job with her too. They're loving it. You never know with people. It can be very stressful having a new baby in the house. So, but yeah, they're doing great. Okay. Can you help with small consequences before going to the behavior board ones? No, because that's in the moment discipline. It's like right in the moment. That's not till week 4 that I even teach that. In the course, in the boot camp course, and with coaching. We do we transfer from the behavior board. The behavior board is a teaching tool, teaching you how to be a leader. I can't tell you how to do in the moment consequences until week 4. Anyway, that's 3 and above. Under 3, they are in the moment consequences, but they're consistent corrective actions with toddlers. It's like if they throw a toy, you say, no, take that toy, throw it away, put it away where they can see it, but they can't touch it for a period of time. I don't know how long. Anyway, so yeah. If they're on the behavior board, that's all you can do in the first 3 weeks. After that, you can do in the moment discipline. But yeah, I would never use a behavior board. It's a teaching tool. That I invented that 16 years ago. I was coaching for a year, and I was sort of teaching what I did, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm level 10 with what I do, and I was teaching them level 10 techniques. And then I realized, I got to get them up there first. Like I got to teach you how to be a leader, how this goes. So that's why we only deal with 1 rule per week. Where can I find more information on the behavior board? That's up in the link above. Everything I have to offer is in the link above. Actually, I got to get going. Am I on Facebook? Shoot. I think I am. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, I am. Okay, I got to move over to Instagram now. I lose track of what I'm doing because I get talking. Anyway, I'm moving over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, I'm on YouTube the whole time. If not, check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler course, my big boot camp course, or you can look into coaching. You have to apply for coaching these days because I'm super busy. But if you're in crisis, put crisis in the subject line in an email. And I always take crisis clients. By the way, a crisis is not my 4-year-old has a tantrum every day. Crisis is big stuff, usually with teenagers or children who've been abused or traumatized in some serious way. That's crisis work. So that's what I specialize in. I don't lead with that, obviously, but that's what I specialize in. So I'll always take you on, unless it's something I can't work with. Like eating disorders, I don't do. Drug addiction, I don't do. Obviously, that's medical issues. So anyway, I'm going on. So anyway, check out the link above, or you can join me over on Instagram, which is where I'm moving over to now. So we'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my regularly scheduled live. It's Tuesday. It's 4:30 on Facebook, Pacific Standard Time. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Happy parenting. Sorry, YouTube, I'm just pushing buttons now. 30 days, done, Instagram. Okay. Minnesota. Yeah. City of Minnesota. Okay. I'm going to look up Minnesota, Florida. Minnesota. Is that Florida or California? Minnesota. Anyway, I'm going to look that up later. I always look up when people tell me where they're from. I always look it up later if I've never heard of it. A lot of my clients are in Texas for some reason. I found out why, but anyway. Might talk about that in a minute. Might not be interesting to people though. I'm just on here to serve you. If it's just yabbering on about myself, I don't tend to do that. It's boring. Montreal, Canada. Never been there. Never been there. Farthest I've been was Thunder Bay. Is that further than Toronto? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've been to Toronto a few times when I was a kid. and Thunder Bay. When I travel, I don't tend to go in Canada. I think a lot of people are like that. They don't tend to travel in their own country. Okay. Wow. I don't understand what's going. It says I've only got 2 people on here. You know, social media changes algorithms and everything so much, you just can't keep up with it. Like now it says 1 person's on here, but it looks like I've got more. And usually after 10 seconds, I've got 100 people on Instagram on a live. So now it says I've got 2. Did Instagram change something? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't do my social media. That's why it's also confusing to me. Why does it say I've only got 2 people in here and there's obviously more? Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's get going with your parenting questions. If you look at the link above, you can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. It's all about you and your leadership. Or you can look into coaching. You have to apply for coaching these days because I'm busy. But if you're in crisis, life and death, really horrible stuff, put crisis in the subject line with your email regarding coaching. Okay. Just waiting for questions. I'm not usually on at this time. Most people are probably at work. So this is really weird. It says I've only got 1 person on the live, but I know I could see more, but it says I've only got 1. What's going on? Can't figure it out. Anyway, feel free to ask your parenting questions now. That's what I'm here for. And I'll just sit here and sort of wait. And I've got no questions on YouTube either. I'm always on YouTube at the same time. Okay, here we go, Suzanne, on YouTube. 2 years and 5 months, so 2.5. I don't feel he's ready for toilet training. Do I wait till I feel he's ready or go ahead anytime now? They're usually ready at 2.5. But if you really feel he isn't ready, maybe try at 2 and 8 months old. But usually by 2.5, they don't always instigate it. Like, they're quite happy filling their pants. They don't always instigate it. The thing is that when you're potty training, there's no pull-ups or anything. So they're going to get that horrible going down their legs feeling. So yeah, hike up the heat in your house, by the way. It's going to get cold if it's, you know what I mean? Because they're only wearing just the pull-up. Anyway, check out the potty course. If you feel you're ready, then do it. If not, I can't judge that. There's no guarantee with any of this. Okay, I'm from Texas. Huge portion of my clients are in Texas. UK, Portugal, Austria, excellent. Germany, I've been to Germany. I was there in Oktoberfest 1980. Birmingham, UK, Ireland, Mumbai, India. Ooh, I have got some clients in India right now. I love getting other countries that have very different cultures because it's just, I learned so much that way. I've got to work with another thing that's interesting because I teach North American parenting, but a lot of my clients come from all over the world. So I have to adjust my advice to respect your religion, your culture. Also, I have to respect your generational pulls. Like a lot of people have older generations who want to say in how parenting's done. So I have to take all that into consideration. It's fun. I really enjoy it. What an odd time. Yeah, it is an odd time. I came on here now because I'm so busy today. So I knew I wouldn't get a chance later on. So if I didn't just do it now, I haven't even showered yet from the gym. So UK, hello. Okay, I have a question about co-sleeping. What's the question? France. I love France. I can't remember the name of it. A small town just in France. Can't remember the name of it. Ontario. Hi, Ontario. New Jersey. Welcome. Okay, my 3-year-old tends to get picked up. I think because she's not in daycare and not used to being around kids all day. Oh, picked on. Okay. How do I encourage her to stand up for herself? She's 3 years old. Okay, here's what you do. You do role playing. So if she's getting picked on, you do role playing. So you pretend that you say to her, now you be the other kid and I'll be you. So then you show her and then you switch places. So you're showing her how to handle herself. But you can say something like this, I don't like that. How about we do this? You don't just tell other kids what not to do. You tell them what to do. Say, I don't like that. Can we do that? Or offer them another suggestion. She's only 3. And, she's not really going to get it. But if you get her to practice this stuff at home, she'll get better at it. And if they practice and role play at home, like with bullying especially, I teach a lot of that. With bullying, when they've said it many, many times, role playing with you, and make it fun, by the way. It's not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be fun. So when they've said it so many times with you, it comes out more naturally when they're out around other people. Thinking about what to say and do rather than practicing what to say and do are two different things. It's like, think about it this way. If you were an actor, like in theater, you wouldn't just think about your role, would you? You have to rehearse it. Same idea. So they're rehearsing how to stand up to other kids. What do you think about sending a child to his room? Yeah, never. That's timeout. I hate timeout. Can't stand it. I think it's mean. Yeah, very patronizing. Would be like, let's say you made a mistake at work and your boss said, you go in the other room now, shut the door. You stay in there you're 36, stay in there for 36 minutes. Someone was laughing and they said, I would love that break. But anyway, it's humiliating. Kids feel the exact same way. They just can't express that. But yeah, it's humiliating. So if I'm disciplining a child, I want them right here. I know what I'm doing. I want them right here. And yeah, so work on your leadership skills. You might want to check out the behavior board, or that's free, or you can check out the boot camp course. That might be for you. If you're just dealing with standard stuff, 3 to 12 years old, the boot camp course is where I'll send you, even if you ask about coaching. Some people want coaching anyway, but if it's under 3 or over 12, that would be coaching. If you're really struggling with kids, or if you're really in the red zone or just that next level stuff going on 3 to 12, then that might be coaching too. Some people have doubled up. They want the course and coaching. I don't really see why, but I mean, they probably do get quicker results. Yes, of course. But anyway, I always try to discourage that. I'm always trying to save you money. Like, do you really need the coaching if you've already got the course? But yeah, they do get quicker results, obviously. What do you think of a 5-year-old being sent to principal a lot? Well, I don't know why, so I can't comment on that. Any ideas for an adopted teen who steals regularly, usually food or money that belongs to someone else? Were they adopted? I'm adopted. Were they adopted as a teenager? But being adopted to me was like, didn't mean anything, didn't make me any different. I actually thought my mom oversold it, and she always told me I was special because I was chosen. So I was convinced I was better than all the other kids. I was chosen. Anyway, she got calls from my friends' mothers. Can you please tell Lisa to tell our kids that they're special too, just because they were had? Yeah, being adopted to me I always felt special. Okay. Mine says 167. Yeah, mine caught up now. Yeah. It was just it's never done that before. Usually it shows how many people are in right away. I usually get about 150. The biggest live I ever had was when I first started doing lives, and it was on TikTok. And I figured out later on, someone big shared it. Obviously they didn't like it because they never did it again. But someone big, I had 26,000 people, and I was brand new at doing lives. You should have seen me looking up at the numbers, and I was just panicking. Thank God I know what I'm talking about, because I can talk through underwater with all this stuff, but it really threw me off. My timing was not good. It was funny. But I was brand new at doing lives too. It was a couple of years ago. Imagine 26,000 people sitting in a live. It was on TikTok. I kept looking at the numbers. It was freaking out. Okay, it was funny. That has not happened since, by the way. And that's fine, because how could I possibly get to all those questions? Okay, there you go. Struggling with my 3-year-old. She was potty trained for 3 weeks, then decided she was over it. Start again. Just start again with the process. If you bought my course, just do another potty training course. Potty party. Yeah, just do another potty party. So start again. They often will regress, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're going to do that, right? They're just kids. Now, if they were 13, I'd be concerned, but at 3, just do another potty party. 4-year-old stalling going to bed, leaves his room several times. Okay, I've got a bedtime battles course. It's a whole system. Now, there's 2 parts: how to get them to bed, then how to keep them there. It goes from 2 to 8 years old. So it's in my link above. But yeah, getting them there is easy. Keeping them there, and it's going to be one hell of a bad night. So be prepared for that. But you got to be willing to go through the storm to get to the rainbow. Everyone wants the rainbow, but I say, are you ready for the storm? I often say that in coaching, and they go, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it gets easier. Okay, but you got to be willing, because they're not used to you being a leader, potentially with certain things or everything. So when you decide you're going to be a leader and you start exercising this leadership, they will often fight back to get the old you. The funny thing is, children instinctively need, crave, and want a leader. And they just like themselves better when they're with a leader. They have higher self-esteem. They have more confidence. And yet they fight it. It's interesting. It's a natural, I guess it's just a natural thing for them to sort of test you. I don't know. Anyway, I haven't really given that much thought, because it doesn't help me to understand it at all. Hi from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hello. My 5-year-old breaks down when she doesn't get something right. like drawing a picture. Okay, if she's 5 years old, that's kind of in the poor sport category. What I mean by that is if it doesn't go her way, she's not happy about it. Do you know what that is? That's a fear of failure. It's a fear of not being perfect. Do you stress straight A's? Do you stress her getting everything right? Do you fuss when they get everything right? Or do you just fuss over them trying? I always fussed over my kids trying. You know, try your hardest to win a game, but if you lose, who cares? My mom used to say, you guys are such good sports to my brother and I. And I never quite understood why it was such a big deal, because she emphasized playing, not winning. So we were good sports. We play to win, but we don't care if we lose. Does that make any sense? That's that same personality trait. It's the poor loser, the sore loser. So you want to, do you fuss over wins, or do you fuss more over trying? I always told my kids, if you're not failing in life, you're never going to succeed, because life's, the road to success is paved with failures, right? That means you're not trying hard enough. You got to push yourself, and then you fail and you go, oh, there's another lesson I just learned. 3-year-old will not listen. We put him in timeout. Well, that's why he doesn't listen. I hate timeout. I can't stand it. So check out my behavior board. It's completely free. Or if you want to go to the next level, that's the boot camp course. It's all about you setting yourself up as a leader. There's a whole bunch of reasons why he doesn't listen and how to do it. I can't sum it up in one comment. But yeah, so it's all about you and your leadership. That's all it is. Parents always blame their kids for what's going on, but their behavior between 3 and 12 years old is 100% a direct result of your parenting. That 3 to 12 years old. Under that, they're crazy. And then after that, they're teens. So it changes. But yeah, 3 to 12 years old, their behavior is 100% a direct result of your parenting. Some parents take offense to that. If you're bailing ship, I understand that. But the thing is, you know what's interesting is parents are so quick to blame their kids, but not themselves. When I was working with kids, if they acted out, I got them like 1 hour a week, and they were, challenging. And if they acted out in my care, under my care, I blame myself. I saw them for 1 hour a week. A leader always takes responsibility for a child's actions. A leader takes responsibility for a child. It's not their fault. It's my fault. I'm in charge of them and they just acted out. What am I doing wrong as their mentor? What am I doing wrong? Right? And I was just their mentor, volunteer mentor, or behavioral specialist, or whatever they called me. No, behavioral tutor. That's what they called me. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, work on yourself, your leadership. That's what my boot camp course is all about. It's not about your kids at all. It's about you and your leadership. Whenever I've come up against a really challenging kid, they're the quickest to turn around for me. They just go like, it's so fast, you wouldn't believe it. It's like once they come up against a calm leader who knows what they're doing, and you exercise your leadership, they almost go like this. Oh, finally. Because that's what they've been needing all along. All children need, crave, and want a leader. If you're not a leader for your children, you're going to send them out in the world very vulnerable. They're going to be very vulnerable to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. They're going to be very susceptible to everything out there, all the influences. You want to be the leader. They'll come home and tell you everything. They're going to run everything by you because you're a safe place to land. Leaders are your best friends with your kids too. It's all that good stuff. What's my definition of a leader? I've got a few tips in that here and there, but overall, a good leader brings out the best in people. That's what it is. A good leader, it's not about you. Well, it is. It's your skill, but your goal is to bring out the best in that kid. Like my goal was always to make kids like themselves when they were with me. Therefore, they want to please me because they liked themselves when they were with me. Does that make sense? They looked up to me. They wanted to please me. That's what you want with kids, not with teenagers. Not so much. They don't want to disappoint. There's still some of that, but yeah, you don't want to hang on to that like with teenagers as much. Direct results, even if they are diagnosed with ADHD and on spectrum. No, autism's different. ADHD, those are all the kids I learned all this with. They taught me all this stuff. Autism's different. That's a specialty. If you want to hire me, that would be coaching. And I can't take everyone on these days. You'd have to check out coaching first, decide whether it's for you, send me an email, and I can't always take everyone on, but you'll end up in a queue. Or sometimes I'll just say, no, this isn't for you. Just try the boot camp course. Okay, I absolutely love your content. I feel that's why I'm reading this. But what I'm going to read, why I'm reading this out, is I feel like I've learned so much. I also really appreciate your honesty. Okay, A lot of people are learning just by doing these lives or just with the free behavior board. You don't have to spend money on me if you don't want. That's why I'm here. I'm here every day talking to you because I want to be able to share this. Share it with your friends. If it works for you, share it with your friends. Say, I'm trying this. This is working or whatever. So share it around. It's not for everybody. I'm not stupid. I don't think I'm for everybody at all. But if I resonate with you and you put into practice what I'm teaching, it should work. I've been doing this forever. I'm old. I mean, I've been doing this. I started volunteering at daycare centers when I was 11. That was like 52 years ago. So yeah, I always was fascinated with kids' behavior, and I was always good at getting the best out of them. So, and I was 11. The daycare worker ladies used to ask me how I did that. They said, "How do you do that? You're fun. They want to be with you, but they listen to you." And I didn't know how to explain it. I was a leader back then with kids. And it's funny, in my personal life, I'm a follower. I have no interest. I don't care where we're going. I don't care what we're doing. You can order my food for me. I don't want to make any decisions because I have to, my business is so demanding. Like I'm always making decisions. I'm in control. I'm a leader. And then in my personal life, just do it for me. So it's just in my business, I'm a leader. You don't have to be a leader everywhere because the reason I brought that up is sometimes I'll get someone who says, well, I'm just not the leader type. Well, in my personal life, I'm not either. So, but with kids, that's your job. A parent should be a leader with children. Everyone can learn how to lead children, okay? I would say my daughter is more the leader with us now. She's 29. She's more the leader with us. I'm still mom, for sure. I still overstep my boundaries in that because I'll never apologize for being mom. Look out, there's a car coming. Mom of 29, I think I can see the car. So I'll always be mom. But she's more the leader. I would rather her tell me what she tells me what to shop for, everything. I don't know how to buy anything for myself. I'm useless. It's my personal life. So you don't have to be a leader everywhere. Do you have any information to help a child that's afraid to poop? It's usually boys, and I'll tell you why. Is it a boy, by the way? I'll look at your name and just see. Just let me know, is it a boy? And I'll tell you why and what to do about it. So it's Taurus. I'm just looking for your answer. I'm just curious. Is it a boy that's afraid to poop? She might be gone by now. People come and go. So if I don't get your answer in like 10 seconds, I'll give up and just tell you anyway what to do. But I'm just curious. Oh, it's not coming in. Girl, but that's not the same name that I just saw. It's a girl. Oh, it is a girl. Okay, I'll tell you why it's usually a boy. Anyway, it'll come up. But it's girls too, but it's usually boys. Anyway, here's the 3 reasons why they're afraid to poop in the toilet, right? Or wait a minute, are they afraid to poop in their diaper too? Okay, I'm going to have to wait for that answer now. I'm assuming you meant the toilet. Now you're going to have to tell me. Is it just in the toilet or is it are they in a diaper? Like, are they? Okay. Okay, you're not going to like my answer. Emotional 8-year-old tries to negotiate when told to come home from play. Play date when told no, will beg and then grumpy. Okay, you're not going to like my answer. That's learned behavior. Past the age of 4, they only do what works, usually 3.5 even, but they only do what works. That says to me that you do give in. So if you're consistent, that just doesn't happen. Like my kids never would have second guessed me. They never would have questioned me. When I said, okay, we're going home in 5 minutes, and then they might not have been happy about leaving, but they knew it was going to happen. So yeah, that just says that you're not consistent. And when you say, you got to say what you mean and mean what you say. That just says that you don't mean what you say. So, oh, we're leaving now. And then they, for some reason, can talk you out of it because you said that they can beg and negotiate. That's learned behavior. My kids can negotiate anything when everything's like, like when we're just discussing normal stuff. But if we had to go somewhere and it was something that I had to take charge of, they would never have questioned me because they thought, well, mom said we're leaving, so we're leaving, right? So yeah, that's you. It's your inconsistency. Yes, toilet. Okay, so here's what you do. Kids who are afraid of pooping on the toilet. There's 3 reasons why they're afraid. One is plot phobia, one is hang phobia, and the other one is just that they're cold. Okay, so think about it this way. If you've been pooping in a diaper, it's all warm, it's all smashed up together, and there's no splashback. All of a sudden, you're pooping in a toilet, your bum's cold, you got that hanging feeling of pulling out of your rectum, right? Sorry, I have to be so graphic. And then when they do finally, it does plop, they often get splashback. Okay, so here's how you deal with that. You explain to them, I understand this could be happening, because anyway, sorry, I keep getting emails. Anyway, I understand what's going on. We're going to fix it. Okay, so hike the heat up in the bathroom, use a little porta potty, and have them help you. Say, we're going to put toilet paper in here so that you can feel it on your bum. Okay, that's that hanging. It won't be hanging anymore. They'll usually be sitting pretty low in that potty, so they'll almost be smashed up against the bottom. And then also, there's no splashback because there's no water. It's going to take time, but that's usually why. Now, the reason it's more boys than girls is when they're sitting on the toilet and they get splashback, there's more equipment hanging down there for them to get splashed. That's why it's usually boys. Okay, does that answer your question? Anyway, hopefully it will. And you can check out my potty party. Oh no, they're already potty trained, so never mind. If they're already potty trained, you don't need that course. And if it's just the poop. Okay. Okay, did that help? Sorry, I've got to scroll ahead. Okay, this is another one that's the exact same one as the past one. 5-year-old who gets really upset when she is learning something new and doesn't get it right on the first try. That's in the poor sportsmanship category. That is a learned behavior, and it's usually because you focus on the wins and not the effort. So like parents who go, yeah, you won, you won. Whereas my mother never did that. My parents never did. They said, oh, well played. Like we never cared about winning. We cared about how well we played. We played a lot of games, and my mom always said, that was so well played. She used to say, I'd rather lose and play well than win through luck. So yeah, winning was never the emphasis. So yeah, oh, I mess up all the time. I always told my kids that. I mess up all the time. That's part of learning. That's part of the process. So it is a learned behavior. It's in the poor sportsmanship category. You can work on that. She's a perfectionist like her dad. Perfectionism is an insecurity. If I can't do it perfect, I'm not going to do it all. They're afraid of not being perfect. No one's perfect anyway, but you see what I'm saying? It's insecurity based. Yeah, don't tell your husband that. Okay, I'm doing this for so many years now. I've dealt with a lot of perfectionists, and they usually will kind of own that. When I'm coaching, they'll usually own that. So I got to scroll ahead because people come and go. What time is it? Oh, shoot. I got to move on to TikTok now. If you want to move over with me, it's Bratbusters Parenting on TikTok. I'm on YouTube the whole time. And you can check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course. That's 3 to 12. It's all about you, not your children. Do you have any fertility tips? Absolutely not. I'm not a doctor. I haven't got a clue. Anyway, and then also coaching. I'm really busy, so you have to apply for that. But check it out first. Make sure it's for you, and then you can send me an email, and you'll be put in a queue. Some days I'm taking new people on. Other days I can't. The reason I don't, it's not that I overload myself at all, because I don't want to have to give you substandard coaching. I can only handle so many, because I put a lot into it, right? Like this is easy for me. I don't put much into this. But coaching, I put a lot into coaching because my goal is your success, right? So, and you're paying me good money for that. So anyway, I put a lot into it, so I do pace it all out. Anyway, so, but if it's crisis, that's why I pace it out too. I can always take in crisis. If you put crisis in the subject line, and crisis is not, my 4-year-old has a tantrum every day. It's the life and death stuff with teenagers usually, or children who've been abused or been through some trauma. Okay, so you have to apply for that if you're interested in coaching. If not, just check out the other stuff. And I'm moving over to TikTok now. Happy parenting. Discard video, discard. TikTok's going to start yelling at me because it plays ads as soon as you turn it on now. I'm talking to YouTube. Here we go. It didn't used to. There we go. Live. Okay, so let me see I'm looking on YouTube now. Oh, okay. So this is Suzanne talking about the 2.5-month-old. Not sure if he's ready for potty training. He can talk about potty training, and I bought a book he likes, but he doesn't say when he needs. Yeah, that's training. He needs to be trained how to do that. So some of them will say it, but most won't. You have to train them. Check out my potty party book. It's not a book. It's a course. Used to be a book. I wrote that 16 years ago. Used to be a book. Now it's a course. Anyway, check that out. It's in the link above. And or in the description on YouTube, and it's potty party. And anyway, it's 2.5 is a good time to potty train. Okay, This is such a common question. This is Pauline on YouTube. Hey, do you have a tip for 7-year-old who has a super hard time getting out of bed at school time? Okay. Use the behavior board. It's completely free. It's in the description on YouTube or in the link on TikTok here, or wherever you are. Anyway, and look it up, and it's a behavior board. Put on there, follow school morning routine as the rule. The consequence is they don't get their phone, or they lose their privileges for the rest of the day, like their phone, their media, something like that. Or they have to do a chore. But usually, if they're old enough to not be going to school, I like to do that. Well, you can earn your phone by getting up and going to school on time. Yeah, so you can just withhold their phone or withhold any media, any screens. It's not punishment. It's just you have to earn that by getting up in the morning. I do it lots of different ways. That's just the one I've been talking about lately. It's just one way to do it. But yeah. Okay. 19-month-old wants to be held and consoled during tantrum. Is that okay? No. What you're doing is you're saying good tantrum. Good tantrum. I do have a tantrum busting course, but basically the whole idea is this, is when they're having a tantrum, that's just an emotional loss of control at not getting their own way. Okay, you do not need to validate that. Absolutely not. They will survive. So you ignore the crazy while they're crying and having a fit. They might be hanging on to you, trying to crawl all over you. You can just sort of look like you don't even notice them. That's okay. They will learn. And then you reward the calm. As soon as they stop crying and stop tantruming, then you can say, oh, do you want to read a book? Don't go overboard. Don't go, oh, are you okay? Yeah, it escalates it. When you start to console them, and then afterwards, oh, it escalates it. You're saying, good tantrum, well done. Let's do it again another day or in 10 minutes. You see, you're actually condoning it. So yeah, you ignore the crazy and reward the calm. As soon as they're calm, you say, do you want to read a book? No big deal. No big, oh, you're all done now. I'll tell you a story with my son, kind of sums it up. He was 3 and it was the second to last tantrum. We were in a very loud, busy mall, so it wasn't disturbing people. For some reason, he had a tantrum. I hadn't said anything. We were just going towards the car. It was no big deal. We're actually leaving the mall. You'd think he'd be happy. Anyway, so he decided to have a tantrum. So he throws himself on the ground. So I pulled him over up against the store window where he wasn't going to get stepped on. Then I pulled out a nail file, and I'm not looking at him or talking to him. I'm filing my nails. Anyway, I guess I was calling attention to myself because I looked so crazy filing my nails with this kid screaming. Anyway, all these young moms kept coming back. Oh, you should give him a hug. Oh, talk about his feelings. I'm like, oh, good. Taking parenting advice from someone with little kids is like taking financial advice from someone with $10 in the bank. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. They didn't know what they were talking about. So I said, oh, okay, fine, keep going, keep going. Anyway, all these grandmothers and moms with older kids kept coming up to me. Well done. You know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. So, because they have experience. This is all experience based. Yeah. One thing that if you're going to take parenting advice from someone, there's 2 criteria they just have to have. They have to have finished the job. Have they lived with teenagers? Have they brought them into adulthood? They have to have finished the job with their own kids. The other one is really important because they might not have had, I mean, I had pretty easy kids. I got respect when they were tiny, kind of sailed right through. So have they had experience with hundreds of other kids with all sorts of challenges? They have to have those 2 criteria or else they can't teach it. How do you know where you're going? How do you know? And plus, if you've just had like an easy kid or 2, how can you possibly teach to people who have kids with ADHD, WXYZ, you know, going through divorce, going through death, grieving, trauma, you know, how could you possibly teach this? So yeah, I'm sure there's lots of other people out there with that level of experience too, but I know there's a lot of, they're meaning well, but a lot of people evidently, I don't look at I don't know who anybody else out there is. I stay away from that. But I know that there's a lot of ill advice being given out there, and it's given with good intentions. But if you're taking advice from someone who just has little wee kids, it's like taking financial advice from someone with $10 in the bank. They don't know what they're doing, what it's going to cause. What are the ramifications of those what they're teaching? Because I have to do a lot of repair work when people come to me for coaching. I have to do a lot of repair work because of that. It backfires. A lot of stuff that's really popular right now backfires down the road, especially in the teen years. Holy moly. I have 3 finished the toddler stage 3 times. Yeah, you survived it. You know, and it's interesting. Whenever I'm hired by someone who has older kids, they also have toddlers. I'll sometimes say, oh, do you want to talk about the toddler? And they always say, nah, they're just crazy. They never even want to talk about the toddler. They just know you just got to survive it. My teen is so cool. Yeah, my teens were great. But, you know, I worked for that. I earned that. And so my daughter was super easy. She always would have been. My son, I put some work into him. He had tantrums when he was little, so he was a pretty easy kid, but I still had to put some work into him. My daughter, no. What I had to do with her was with her. I was worried that she might be too not outgoing enough, not secure enough. So I built up her confidence, and she knows who she is for sure. Where can I find the behavior board? That's in the link above, and it's completely free. It takes about 10 minutes to get to you, by the way. A lot of people say, I didn't get it yet, and then they'll write back, oh, I got it. It's not an instant thing. So give it 10 or 20 minutes. It'll arrive in your email inbox, evidently. Is the behavior board the first step to becoming a leader? It is. With 3 to 12 years old, it is. Yeah, that's my teaching tool. I would never use a behavior board, but it's a teaching tool for your leadership, right? So it just, because you're on there too. You have to have a rule and a consequence. Leaders are accountable. They're not listening to you, they're watching you. So if you're not accountable, you make a mistake and there's no consequence for you, what the heck? That's not a leader, that's a dictator. Kids pick up on that like that. Oh, I was very accountable. If I messed up, my kids would look at each other like this. And I'm like, oh, shoot, what do you want? Because I knew I'd messed up. I'd kept them waiting or something. So, yeah. My 6-year-old is showing some attention-seeking behavior, class clown, etc. How do I build his confidence? Well, that is confidence. So I don't quite know what you mean by that. How do you show him that he's not the only one in the world, that other people are maybe disturbed by his behavior? You say that. Just say, by the way, I was class clown. So it's kind of hit a nerve here. The teacher, but I was often also the teacher's pet, because I got all my work done really fast. And then, like, I never took books home or anything. I got all my work done really quickly, and then I was free to talk. And the teacher said, not everyone's getting everything done as fast as you do, Lisa. So I'd have to sit there like this. So I remember that really well. But yeah, it certainly wasn't lack of confidence in my condition and my thing for sure. I'm going to tell you a funny story. It's not parent related. It just makes me look really stupid. I think it's funny. Anyway, when I was in high school, I was in grade 12. And the university had sent down some students, and they were going to do a, what do they call it, like a test to see. And they took some students out who were doing quite well in class, not probably the top, I don't know. Anyway, so they selected out a few of us, and they were going to, it was like a 3-hour exam they had us write. And we got out of class to do this too. Anyway, so it was 3 hours, and it was all like really weird questions. It wasn't knowledge-based, like it was all like figuring out problem solving. So anyway, it was 3 hours. I finished it in 20 minutes. So, and I did really well on it. So anyway, this is the funny part. So they said to me later, we've never seen anyone do it that fast. And I said, oh, does that mean I'm really smart? And they said, no, it just means you're fast. So throughout my life, that was like, 50 years ago. So I always say, oh, I'm stupid, but I'm fast. So I thought that was so funny. And they said, no, it doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you're fast. Because I think if I know something, I know it. I don't think about it. Anyway, it just struck me as funny. Yeah, I'm stupid, but I'm fast. By the way, I'm very self-deprecating, and that allows kids to also laugh at themselves and be good sports, because it's okay to not be perfect. Actually, you're more likable if you are vulnerable and imperfect. No one likes a perfect person. No one's perfect. We all know they're not. And no one likes someone pretending to be perfect. They're annoying. They're phony. No one likes I hate people like that. I hate phony. It's my least favorite thing. I want to know who you are. And also, charm. I don't like charm. Charm is usually a cover for other stuff that's not good. So yeah, I like just raw people, say it like it is, make fun of yourself. And that also teaches your children, it's okay to be yourself. You're fine as you are. Whenever, from the time I was really little, anytime I walk into a room full of strangers or anywhere, all I'm thinking is, I hope I like someone. It would never dawn on me to think, I hope they like me. It just wouldn't. Because the reason isn't because I think I'm better, it's that they're not better than me. We're all the same. And plus, I never expect to connect with everybody. And I always told my kids this too. Lots of people aren't going to like you. It's usually mutual, by the way. If someone doesn't like me, it's usually mutual, because it's a connection. You just sort of have a connection with some people, and other people you don't. And that's okay. I always told my kids, don't expect everyone to like you. Who would want that? Because you don't like everybody. Why should everybody like you? So yeah, that's part of confidence. Boy, I went off on a tangent there. Sorry about that. How can I encourage my 3-year-old to tell us what's wrong instead of just answering nothing? Yeah, of course they're going to say that. What a good question. I love this one. The way you get them to talk is you enter their world and play with them all the time, as much as possible. Play with them in their world. That's when stuff comes out. It doesn't come out when you say, what's wrong? Nothing. It comes out when you're playing Lego with them. Oh, and this and that. You know what happened at school today? And you're like this, oh, what? And you're thinking, ooh, here it comes. So yeah, it happens incidentally. It doesn't happen in a confrontation because they don't like therapy sessions. Okay. That's very confrontational to say, what's wrong? They might answer, they might not, but you'll always get information out of them when you enter their world to play with them in their world. That's when they talk. That's when the gold happens. I don't know what is going on out in the hallway. We've got all of our common areas in my apartment. Everything's being painted, new carpeting and everything. So sorry about that. I don't know how bad that is for you. Okay. What should we do? Oh, this is interesting because I don't know the answer to this. What should we do when the behavior board works, but now the behaviors are being seen at school? Sorry, that noise. So the behavior board's working, the rule is working at home. The rule, like they're stopped breaking the rule at home, but now they're doing it at school. Well, then you say to them, I will get a report from the teacher. Just say like that. I'll ask the teacher. So yeah, depends on the age. They have to be kind of 5 and above before you do that deferred. Yeah, I don't know how old they are. Anyway, but yeah, say the teacher's going to be reporting back to me, and it's going to be the same consequences on the board. Can't do that with everything. He's 11. Oh, he's 11. Okay, just a sec here. Is that the same one? Yeah, it is. Okay, he's 11 years old, so he's acting out. Yeah, I would just say the teacher's going to be reporting back to me, so there'll be a consequence. Or if you do that at school, then we'll hold your phone for the rest of the night. That usually stops them in their tracks. But it depends what it is. You can't go in too hard. Depends what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Because there's kind of different answers for that one. What's a good punishment for not behaving? Well, that's a very broad statement. Set yourself up as a leader and they tend to behave. So look in the behavior board. That's completely free. It's in the link above. And by the way, I got to get going now. If you check out the link above, you can get my free behavior board. Wait about 10 or 20 minutes for that to come in your email. Because a lot of people say, I didn't get it. And then 10 minutes later, I got it. Never mind. It takes about 10 or 20 minutes. So the free behavior board, the mini toddler courses, there's 4 of those. Well, actually, one of them isn't just toddlers. It's 2 to 8 years old. That's the bedtime battles one. And then also the big boot camp course, that is from 3 to 12 years old. It's all focused on you and your leadership. You lead, they will follow. That's just the way it works. And then teenagers, that would usually be, would always be coaching. Or you can check out coaching for any age, depends on what's going on. But I can't take on everyone these days. I'm busy. So you have to apply for coaching via email. Anyway, look it up, decide if coaching's for you, and then you have to send me an email and tell me why. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow for my regularly scheduled lives. That's all in the link above. And happy parenting. Bye now.